This road in particular is not a tertiary street, it's a secondary road, but it leads to Woodhaven Boulevard, a main thoroughfare here in the borough of Queens, and it is inaccessible, not only to cars, not only to buses, but also to emergency vehicles. And it stretches almost 4 blocks from the point where I'm standing down to Woodhaven Boulevard, making this just a recipe for a disaster. What do we want here? We want our fair share of city services, and we're wondering why the City of New York and why Mayor de Blasio did not dedicate the proper equipment, the proper manpower to cleaning the streets in this community and in so many other neighborhoods throughout the borough of Queens. The city failed. They did not do a very good job. Maybe in some parts of the city they did a good job, but here in Woodhaven and in Ozone Park and in Richmond Hill and in so many other communities throughout the borough of Queens, the city did not do an adequate job of cleaning the streets and clearing the streets. And if you take a look here on your right here, you'll see that there is 3 feet of snow that extends for almost 3 blocks long. So it's really inexcusable, especially given the fact that the people of Queens work very hard, they pay taxes, and all they want in return is their fair share of city services. This is 2 days after the storm ended. It looks like the storm just ended 10 minutes ago, and the people in this community are outraged, they are frustrated, because they did not get their fair share of sanitation services. And all we want are for the streets to be cleared, the streets to be plowed, and for people to be able to go about their regular course of business in this community. Because my district in particular, and this part of Queens, went largely ignored when it came to responding to the storm. We knew the storm was coming a week ago. This didn't happen overnight. We weren't prepared for the storm. We didn't know the magnitude, how much snow was going to fall, where it was going to fall. It's just no excuse. It's inexcusable. There are at least 2 or 3 dozen streets throughout this community, in this immediate vicinity. If you don't believe me, you can go around and check yourself. But the mayor obviously didn't tour this morning and yesterday when he said he came to Queens, that are still buried in snow, and people are trapped in their homes. They can't get to work, they can't get to school, and we're wondering when help is on the way. When is the relief going to come? When is City Hall going to pay attention to neighborhoods like this one that went largely ignored after the storm? They're trying to change the discussion to Hillary and to everything else that he was talking about at his 1 o'clock press conference, when I have senior citizens living in this community that can't get to church. I have children in this community that can't get to school. The bus can't get down this block. The parent can't drive the student to school every day. It's unconscionable. So to say that 98% of things are doing wonderful and things are great and that there's a lot of work to do, but we'll get to it when we can get to it, that's not a very good excuse. I want the mayor to come to this community and tell my constituents why their streets have not been plowed for 3 days and why there's 3 feet of snow that's preventing them from living their daily lives like the rest of New Yorkers who are already back up on their feet.
I'm a lifelong resident of this street, 96th Street. I've spent my entire life here. I've never seen the street this bad so long after the snow has stopped falling.
And you were directing traffic earlier today, it looked like, when I was pulling in, I saw?
I've spent at least a half hour directing traffic, and I spent the better part of the day with other residents on my block and in my community, digging out school buses, shoveling out cars that have gotten stuck, helping people who cannot get into their cars, cannot get out of their homes. I think one good thing that came out of this is we saw the community come together, but this is not something that we want to see on a regular basis. This has been a tough day. I don't think anyone wants to be digging out buses and directing traffic all day long. That's not my idea of a good time. Why did certain streets in other neighborhoods get plowed 2 or 3 or 4 times before this street got plowed once? Why was there a plow situated right there, stuck in the snow, for 14 hours? The driver literally stayed in the plow overnight.
We couldn't even help them.
Yes.
They were sitting in the plow. We tried to dig them out. Impossible. They actually had to send a bigger truck to pull them out because it wasn't able to move.
There was nothing we can do, and rest assured, the people of Woodhaven came out and tried to help this driver, and tried to help the truck get dislodged. Yes, we came together and tried to help out, but no, it stayed there for 14 hours, blocking the street. And once it was finally removed, they didn't even bother to plow the rest of it, and they didn't bother to plow any of the side streets that traffic was redirected down. That's not acceptable.
Alex. Yes, and like I say, I live here for 55 years.
Thank you, Em.
And I never seen like this nothing. Usually they come around like when the snow starts falling a couple of times during the night because I'm a very light sleeper, so I could hear the click click. But this time nothing came. So that's why they're in trouble now.
What goes through your mind now when you look and see this?
Terrible, terrible. I'm walking around like, you know, I shovel my driveway and everything else in the sidewalk. I don't want to get a ticket. And this is unacceptable.
First thing they'll be coming down tomorrow to get tickets.
Because I like how that's what you're worried about. I saw the news. I watch the news every day. They were prepared with everything, the plows and everything else. So I said, forget about the garbage. So, but nothing came. Nothing came.
You can't get an ambulance, a fire truck, a school bus. You can't get anything down a road like this. And this stretches for 4 blocks down. This is not the exception to the norm. There are at least 24 other streets just like this in this immediate vicinity, in this community, in this neighborhood that haven't seen a plow in 24 to 48 hours. And I don't even think a plow would do the trick here now. We need a backhoe, we need a payloader, we need some sort of heavy-duty equipment dispatched to this community so that we can clear these streets and allow people to go about their regular business again like other New Yorkers are able to do. But for some reason here in Woodhaven, the city simply forgot about them. And I'm here to apologize to all my constituents that the city let them down. And I seem to be the only one willing to do that, to come here and walk these streets and say to the homeowners in this community, I'm sorry the city didn't give you your fair share of city services, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this doesn't happen again.